Hello, and welcome back to Adults After Dark. My name is Mimi, and I am your host for the evening. I want to take the time to thank everyone who has been tuning in each week for these adult conversation episodes. So, right now we only have a few subscribers, but as I'm looking at the analytics, I see that quite a few people are actually listening to the episodes but are not subscribing. So guys, if you are interested and likes the conversations that you're hearing, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. We are on episode number 6, and the first 5 episodes, no one has really commented like I would hope that you all would. Guys, this is an interactive adult conversation. I would love to have you guys feedback. So at the beginning of each episode, I would like to do a recap, and I want to be able to share your comments and your suggestions and your feedbacks, to everyone. I mean, we can probably help someone, which is the reason why I started this. The thing is, I have a lot to say, and I know I'm not the only one. So as you know, in the past few episodes at the beginning of the conversation, I kind of give you a little bit of my story. My story is pretty big, guys, and it's literally with this one person. We have been through so much before we broke up, and like I said, maybe we can help someone else. You can share this video or talk to someone else about these conversations, and it might just help them. You never know. So yeah, guys, I would love for you to comment down below. Put in your comments down below. Let us hear what you got to say. I want to know what you have to say, even if it's about my story. It doesn't have to be your story. It can just be something about my story. I would love to get you guys feedback and read that conversation to the group. Okay. So, like I said, I want to thank everybody who has been consistently tuning in. Now we are still going to do the recap, but the recap, I guess, is just going to be what we have originally talked about in the previous episode, since, like I said, I'm not getting any comments, but that's totally fine. I would love for you guys to comment, and I would also like for you guys to give us some topics, suggest some topics to us. I do have quite a bit of topics, but I would like to hear some of your ideas as well, so we can include those in. Excuse me. Like I said, today is episode 6. Now, in tonight's episode, I originally had another topic planned, but I kind of changed it at the last minute because it's something that I want to talk about, but I don't know if I'm quite ready to talk about it just yet. Like I said, a lot of these conversations, I put myself out there and I tell you guys like a little bit about me, and this is one of them that I want to discuss. But like I said, I don't think I'm really ready to. It's not as much as I thought I was. So tonight's episode is going to be hold on, I had it right here. So episode 6, tonight's topic is abuse. It is abuse. So go ahead and think about that for a minute. So the thing is, do you know the different types of abuse? Have you been abused? Do you know someone that has been abused? Are you being abused, or do you know someone who is being abused? That is a real touchy subject, and yeah, guys, think about that. And while you are thinking about that, we are going to recap on episode 5. So guys, if you have not listened to, I was about to say watched, but this is an audio conversation. So if you have not listened to episodes 1 through 5, the links will be in the description box down below. You guys go ahead and check those out. And I still want to hear or read your feedback from 1 through 5. Okay, so think about that for a minute. The topic for tonight is abuse. Again, we are on episode number 6. And before we get started with the recap, I must say that this is an adult audio conversation. So we ask that you do not listen to this in front of minors, okay? Put in your AirPods, your earbuds, headphones, go to another room, send the kids to bed, send them outside, or what have you. But yeah, tonight's topic is abuse. So to recap on episode number 5, which was are you a friend with benefits? Do you have a friend with benefits? Have you been a friend with benefits? So again, I've touched on my situation a little bit. Now, my situation, it happened some years ago. Like I said, my husband and I have been together for 18 years, so it was way before that time. And I did have a friend with benefits. Now, if you don't remember, a friend with benefits is someone that you are physical with, but there is no commitment. That person may be seeing someone else on the side. You may be seeing someone else on the side. There are no strings attached. You guys just get together just specifically to be physical. And like I said, I was in one for a couple of years. I've actually had, I believe it was 3. It might have been 3. It may have been a little bit more, but I can only think of 3 off the top of my head. But yeah, so that was last week's topic. So this week's topic, again, like I said, it is abuse. So do you actually know the signs of abuse? Now, I have told you guys about a previous relationship that I was in, and in that relationship, he was abusive. The guy, the story that I've told you guys, he was abusive. I've told you about him hitting on me. I believe it might have been episode number 4 about being in a toxic relationship. So yeah, so the guy that I was with for the 14 years, and I have mentioned him several times, we were in an abusive relationship. He felt like he hit me when he felt like it. And I've explained some of the things that happened, like for instance with him frying the chicken, the incident with the chicken, the incident when we're playing cards, and it's been a few more incidents. I can remember another time that he hit me. He actually had blacked my eye this particular time. So we stayed in public housing, and my neighbor down the hall, if you all ever stayed in public housing, you have it's basically the projects, and you have I think it was 10 apartments on the floor. The building that I stayed in, it was 10 apartments per floor, and it was 16 floors. So my neighbor that lived down the hall was having a little get together, and me being the person that I am, I asked him if it was okay for me, to go down there and hang with them. They was barbecuing and playing cards, and just hanging out and kicking it, right? So he got mad and said something to the fact that what the MF you want to go down there and hang with them for? You got a boyfriend down there? I mean, he just went on and on and on, right? And I was like, first of all, I'm a grown woman. I'm, being considerate and asking you, is it okay if I go down there? It's not like I was getting his permission. It was more like, what is the word I'm trying to say? Being considerate, I guess you can say. And it was on from there, and he hit me, and we fought. And when I woke up the next day, I actually had a black eye. Yes, and then I know there was another time. I don't know how many times we fought. But it was quite a bit. I remember there was a time when he and I had actually broke up, right? And I had started seeing another guy. Now, this guy actually knew the person that I had just broke up with. They knew each other. And from my understanding, the guy that I was messing around with, actually, you know what? He was a friends with benefits too. He surely was. So the guy that I was actually messing around with, that knew the guy that I had just broke up with, they were in a car together, and the guy told him, yeah, I just seen Mimi and blah blah blah, and we hung out and this and this and this, and he told him all kind of stuff. I'm like, whoa, why would you say that? And so he told me that the guy that I had just broke up with had jumped out the car while the car was moving, came to my house. The guy had came to my house, and he was arguing and fussing and cussing and everything. And I'm like, well, we not together. We broke up. And he like, well, why you gonna mess around with dude and blah, 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 all this other kind of stuff. And he hit me in my mouth. He had hit me in my mouth so hard that my lip hit my tooth, and it started to bleed. Until this day, I have a black mark on my bottom lip from where he had hit me at. So, yeah, so when I saw the guy that I was kicking it with, I kind of cussed him out, like, dude, that's my business. Why would you go and tell him, why would you do that? and it was just a big thing. So I had no longer messed around with him. And you know what? Come to think of it, now that I'm thinking about it, I had I had 5 friends with benefits. Now that I think about it, I had 5. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, we kind of stopped messing around then, because I'm a grown woman. I got my own place. I pay my own bills. Same with you. You're a grown man. You got your own. Why would you tell somebody your business like that? So that kind of blew it with that. So yeah, you guys comment down below and let me know of the abuse, or if there was any abuse, know someone that's been abused or is being abused. And just a FYI, the domestic violence number is 800-799-7233. 800-799-7233. Or you can text SMART to 88788. Text SMART to 88788. So there are a number of ways to be abused. There are many different types of abuse. Okay, so we have physical abuse, mental abuse, financial abuse, verbal abuse. We have psychological, emotional abuse, discriminatory abuse, self-neglect. Now, this one I've never heard of is organizational, institutional abuse. I've never heard of that. So what I have here is some of the types of abuse, and I kind of just looked this up online, so I'm not sure where this came from. It just says Social Care Institute for Excellence, so I don't know if that's a what they call it, like a college that deals with. I'm not really sure. So number 1 would be types of physical abuse, which includes assaulting, hitting, slapping, punching, kicking, hair pulling, biting, and pushing, rough handling, scalding and burning, physical punishment, inappropriate or unlawful use of restraint, making someone purposely uncomfortable, like opening a window and removing blankets, involuntary isolation or confinement, misuse of medication or over sedation, force feeding or withholding food, unauthorized restraint, restrictive movement, or tying someone to a chair. So those are the some of the types of physical abuse. And guys, I want to mention this too. If you are being abused, this goes for men and women, because believe it or not, men are abused as well. Whether it's by their girlfriend or wife, or they may be in a same-sex relationship and they get abused as well. Okay, so if you know someone, or if you are being abused, be sure to tell somebody. It's sounding like it's easier said than done, but there's going to be a time when you are by yourself, or if you go to a doctor or something, tell somebody. Okay, and if you can get away, get away. Like I said, I know it's easier said than done, and people stay in an abusive relationship for many different reasons. I was one of them. Like I said, I was there 14 years and we have never had a healthy relationship. So yeah, if you can, tell someone, and say your closest friend. Don't tell someone that he knows, because 9 times out of 10, if that's his friend, they're not going to say anything there on that side. But then again, you do get those that will help you out. Okay, but be careful as to leaving one abusive relationship and getting into another. Like I said, there are different forms of abuse. So this next one is types of domestic violence abuse. Domestic violence abuse can be characterized by any of the indicators of abuse outlined in the briefing related to psychological abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse. Okay, here are the different types of sexual abuse, which includes rape, attempted rape or sexual assault, inappropriate touch anywhere, non-consensual masturbation of either or both persons, non-consensual sexual penetration or attempt to penetrate the vagina, anus, or mouth, which is rape, any sexual activity that the person lacks the capacity to consent to, inappropriate looking, sexual teasing or innuendos or sexual harassment, sexual photography or forced use of pornography or witnessing of sexual acts, and also indecent exposure. So that there was the sexual abuse. And then we have types of psychological or emotional abuse, which includes enforced social isolation, preventing someone accessing service, educational, and social opportunities, and seeing friends. So that one is another form of abuse, when your partner is telling you, no, you can't go hang with your friends, no, your friends can't come over here, no, you can't go visit your parents, or if they do, they're there with you all the time. If you go pee, they go pee. If you go outside, they're right on your heels. So you have to look out for that stuff. The next one is removing mobility or communication aids, or intentionally leaving someone unattended when they need assistance, preventing someone from meeting their religious or cultural needs, preventing the expression of choice and opinion, failure to respect privacy, preventing stimulation, meaningful occupation or activities, intimidation, coercion, harassment, use of threats, humiliation, bullying, swearing, or verbal abuse. Addressing a person in a patronizing or infantilizing way. I don't even know if I said that word right. Threats of harm or abandonment or cyberbullying. Okay, and we also have types of financial or material abuse, which includes theft of money or possessions, fraud or scamming, preventing a person from accessing their own money, benefits, or assets. Employees taking a loan from a person using the service. What? Okay. Undue pressure, duress, threat, or undue influence put on a person in connection with loans, while property, inheritance, or financial transactions. Arranging less care than is needed to save money to maximize inheritance. Denying assistance to monitor financial affairs, denying assistance to access benefits, misuse of personal allowance in a care home, misuse of benefits or direct payments in a family home, someone moving into a person's home and living rent-free without agreement or under duress, false representation using another person's bank account, cards, or documents, exploitation of a person's money or assets, unauthorized use of a card, misuse of power of attorney, deputy appointmentship, or legal authority, rogue trading, unnecessary or overpriced property repairs, and failure to carry out agreed repairs or poor workmanship. All of those are types of financial or material abuse. Now, there's one also called modern slavery. Now, this includes human trafficking, forced labor, domestic servitude, sexual exploitation such as escort work, prostitution, or pornography, debt bondage, being forced to work to pay off a debt that realistically they never will be able to do. That's deep. Now, I didn't know that was called modern slavery as far as human trafficking and things like that. I didn't know that. Types of discriminatory abuse would be unequal treatment based on age, disability, gender, reassignment, marriage and civil partnership, pregnancy, and maternity, race, religion, and belief, sex or sexual orientation known as protected characteristics under the Equality Act of 2010. Also, types of discriminatory abuse is verbal abuse, derogatory remarks, or inappropriate use of language related to protected characteristic, denying access to communication aids, not allowing access to an interpreter, signer, or lip reader, harassment or deliberate exclusion on the grounds of a protected characteristic, denying basic rights to health care, education, employment, and criminal justice relating to a protected characteristic, and substandard service provision related to a protected characteristic. All of those are types of discriminatory abuse. Now we have types of organizational or institutional abuse, which is discouraging visits or the involvement of relatives or friends. I just said that a few minutes ago, not letting someone talk to their friends and relatives and family. Other organizational or institutional abuse includes rundown or overcrowded establishments, authoritarian management or rigid regimens, lack of leadership and supervision, insufficient staff or high turnover resulting in poor quality care, abusive and disrespectful attitudes toward people using the service, inappropriate use of restraints, lack of respect and dignity and privacy, failure to manage residents and abusive behavior, not providing adequate food or drink or assistance with eating, not offering choice or promoting independence, misuse of medication, failure to provide care with dentures, spectacles, or hearing aids, not taking account of individual cultures, religious, or ethnic needs, failure to respond or to abuse appropriately, interference with personal correspondence or communication, and failure to respond to complaints. Now, all of these are called types of organizational or institutional abuse. And then we have types of neglect and acts of omission, which includes failure to provide or allow access to food, shelter, clothing, heating, stimulation, and activity, personal or medical care, providing care in a way that the person dislikes, failure to administer medication as prescribed, refusal to access to visitors, not taking account of individual cultural, religious, or ethnic needs, not taking account of educational, social, or recreational needs, ignoring or isolating the person, preventing the person from making their own decisions, preventing access to glasses, hearing aids, and dentures. They just said that on up at the top. And then failure to ensure privacy and dignity. Now we have types of self-neglect, which is abuse, and I believe this is abuse of yourself, which includes lack of self-care to the extent that threatens personal health and safety, neglecting to care for one's personal hygiene, health, or surroundings, inability to avoid self-harm, failure to seek help or access service to meet health and social care needs, inability or unwillingness to manage one's personal affairs. Now, all of those are signs of self-neglect. Okay, now I want to read this to you guys as well. Like I said before, if you know someone, have been yourself, or maybe if you suspect that someone is being abused in any of these kind of ways, I'm going to read, excuse me, I'm going to read a little further into what some of those things mean. So again, the number is 800-799-7233. 800-799-7233, or you can text START to 88788. Okay, text START to 88788. This is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. So pass that number on if you need to, or write it down and keep it for yourself, because you never know, things happen. So now this here, going back to the physical abuse, some of the things here says no explanation for injury or inconsistency with the account of what happened. Okay, now you may know somebody that got a knot on their head, and their significant other, their partner, may have hit them or hit them with something. They may tell you, oh, I hit it on the cabinet, or I was bending down and hit it on the sink, or I ran into a door. Those are the things that you need to look out for when they start giving stuff like that. If you didn't see it yourself, then keep an eye on that person. Okay, in the weeks to come, see if their behavior is different. It's a lot of ways to tell. Okay, the next one says injuries are inconsistent with the person's lifestyle. Bruises, cuts, welts, burns, and or marks on the body, or loss of hair in clumps. Frequent inquiries, unexplained falls, subdued or changed behavior in the presence of a particular person, signs of malnutrition, failure to seek medical treatment, or frequent changes of GP. So these are signs and indicators of the physical abuse. So if you notice these things on someone, say something. If you have to tell them, if you need some help, just give me a code or something that only you two know, right? I was looking at, I don't know if I saw it on social media or if it was a commercial that I saw. It was about abuse, and so this girl called 911, and she acted like she was ordering a pizza. If you guys had seen that commercial, let me know. So she had like she was ordering a pizza, and she was saying, something to the effect that, I want to order a pizza, and the person on the phone was like, "Ma'am, this is 911," and the questions that the person on 911 was asking, she would respond to, "Oh yeah, it's just enough for two. That's enough for two," or, "Yeah, I live at blah blah blah." It was a bunch of different scenarios that she was saying. So if you guys seen that commercial, let me know. Okay, so the signs and indicator of domestic violence abuse: low self-esteem, feeling that the abuse is their fault when it is not; physical evidence of violence such as bruising, cuts, broken bones; verbal abuse and humiliation in front of others; fear of outside intervention; damage to home or property; isolation, not seeing friends and family; limited access to money. Acts of assault, threats, humiliation, and intimidation: harming, punishing, or frightening the person; isolating the person from source of support; exploitation of resources or money; preventing the person from escaping abuse; regulating everyday behavior. Those are signs and indicators of types of domestic abuse. Okay. The signs and indicators of sexual abuse this is actually quite a few: bruising, particularly to the thighs, buttocks, upper arms; marks on the neck; torn, stained, or bloody underclothing; bleeding, pain, or itching in the genital area; unusual difficulty in walking or sitting; foreign bodies in genital or rectal openings; infection, unexplained genital discharge, or sexually transmitted diseases; pregnancy in women who is unable to consent to sexual intercourse; the uncharacteristic use of explicit sexual language or significant changes in sexual behavior or attitude; incontinence not related to any medical diagnosis; self-harming; poor concentration, withdrawal, sleep disturbance; excessive fear, apprehensive, or withdrawal from relationships; fear of receiving help with personal care; reluctant to be alone with a particular person. Okay, so those are the signs and indicators of sexual abuse. Types of physical, psychological, or emotional abuse signs and indicators are an air of silence when a particular person is present; withdrawal or change in psychological state of a person; insomnia; low self-esteem; uncooperative or aggressive behavior; a change in appetite; weight loss or gain; signs of distress; tearfulness; anger; apparent false claims by someone involved with the person to attract unnecessary treatment. Okay, so guys, look out for these signs. Okay, now types of financial and material abuse signs and indicators are missing personnel possession; unexplained lack of money or inability to maintain a lifestyle; unexplained withdrawal of funds from accounts; power of attorney or lasting power of attorney being obtained with the person and cease to have mental capacity; failure to register a lasting power of attorney after the person has ceased to have mental capacity to manage their finances. So if it appears that they are continuing to do so, the person allocated to manage financial affairs is invasive or uncooperative. The family of others show usual interest in assets of the person. Signs of financial hardships in cases where the person's financial affairs are being managed by a court-appointed deputy attorney or LPA. Recent changes in deeds or title to property, rent arrears and eviction notices, a lack of clear financial accounts held by a care home or service, failure to provide receipts for shopping or other financial transactions carried out on behalf of the person, disparity between the person's living conditions and their financial resources, insufficient food in the house, and unnecessarily property repairs. Now, this one here, where is it? So this one here, a lack of clear financial accounts held by a care or home service. Now, some years ago, I used to work in a nursing home, and a lot of the people in the nursing home, they would get like a social security check or disability check or aid check or something like that, and they got their check once a month. It depends on what kind of check they were getting for depending on the days that they were getting. And the residents only got $30 a month. So the facility kept all of their money. Now, I don't know if that's legal, if it's in a binding contract or what have you. I don't know. But I do know they will only receive $30 a month. And some of them, they smoked cigarettes. Some of them they did, drink. Some of them went home like for the weekend. So they were depending on this money that they got, to go do the things that they want. Then you have some that were just there for rehab, and they still want their hygiene and stuff. They may want to buy something from a restaurant or what have you, but they only got $30 a month. Yep. So this next one, types of modern slavery. Is this the right one? Yep. Okay, signs of physical or emotional abuse: appearing to be malnourished, unkept, or withdrawn; isolation from the community, seeming under the control or influence of others; living in a dirty, cramped, or overcrowded accommodations, and or living and working at the same address; lack of personal effects or identification documents; always wear the same clothes; avoid eye contact; appearing frightened or hesitant to talk to strangers; fear of law enforcement. So this one here, living in a dirty, cramped, or overcrowded accommodations. Now think about our people that's incarcerated. The jails are overcrowded. I know some of them are sleeping on the floors. They pretty much sleep wherever they can, especially at our county jail. It's so overcrowded, they don't have room for these people, and so wherever they sit is where they sleep, and which is a sign of abuse, because it is dirty, it's cramped, and it's overcrowded. So it's just a sign of abuse. So our government are abusing these people. They don't have human rights. They're just a number, all about the money. So this next one, types of discriminatory abuse. The signs and indicators are: the person appears withdrawn and isolated, expressive or anger, frustration, fear, or anxiety. The support on offer does not take account on the person's individual needs in terms of protected characteristic. I'm not understanding that one, but okay. And then the signs and indicators of organizational or institutional abuse is: lack of flexibility and choice for people using the service, inadequate staffing levels, people being hungry or dehydrated, poor standards of care, lack of personal clothing, possessions, and communal use of personal items, lack of adequate procedures, poor record keeping and missing documents, absence of visitors, few social, recreational, and educational activities, public discussion of personal matters, unnecessary exposure during bathing or using the toilet, absence of individual care plans, lack of management, overview, and support. So this is a good one right here. Guys, I'm sorry if you hear that noise in the background. They're doing riding motorcycles or something down the street or something. So yeah, this was a good one. The signs and indicators of organizational or institutional abuse. So then we have the signs and indicators of types of neglect and acts of omission, which are poor environment, dirty or unhygienic, poor physical condition and or personal hygiene, pressure sores or ulcers, malnutrition or unexplained weight loss, untreated injury and medical problems, inconsistent or reluctant contact with medical and social care organizations, accumulations of untaken medication, uncharacteristic failure to engage in social interaction, and inappropriate or inadequate clothing. Those are the signs of neglect. Okay. Signs of self-neglect is very poor personal hygiene, unkept appearance, lack of essential food, clothing, or shelter, malnutrition and or dehydration, living in squalid and unsanitary conditions, neglecting household maintenance, hoarding, collecting a large number of animals in appropriate conditions, non-complying with health care service, and inability or unwillingness to take medication or treat illness or injury. So guys, these are like I said, the different types of abuse and the signs and the indicators. So if you like I said, know someone, if you know someone in a care facility, if you know someone who works in a care facility and they discuss how those residents or patients are being treated, pay attention to what they're saying. Okay, let them know that it is not right, that the person is being treated that way, that there is a sign of abuse. Now I know in like nursing homes, medical facilities, assisted living, if you know someone that's there and is being abused, then you can call the Office of Inspector General. Okay. Office of Inspector General. If you know a person, that a friend or something that's being abused, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is 800-799-7233, 800-799-7233, or you can text them at start to 88788. That's start 88788. Now, I do know on the website there is a chat box. There's a chat box, but you have to be careful, because if you're on a website and you at home with the person that's hurting you, then of course they're going to be monitoring. They're going to be looking over your shoulder to see what you're doing. Okay. So, yeah, know the signs of abuse. Okay. So also, guys, I want to say, if you are lucky enough to be able to leave your abuser, or if you are lucky enough to help someone leave their abuser, there are many places that they can go. There is plenty shelters here, or if you have space in your home, help them out. You're potentially helping them survive, because a lot of times the abused person will end up getting killed. Okay, if you can get a restraining order on the person that's doing the abusing, do that. If you can't get away, do that. Okay, so again, this is an adult conversation, and if you are in the presence of children, please do not listen to this in front of children. Send them away to another room or what have you. I want to thank you all for tuning in to tonight's episode. This is episode number 6, which is abuse. If you have not listened to the first 5 episodes, I will have them linked below. Guys, please, I want to hear from you. So please comment down below your thoughts, your questions, your suggestions, your statement, or what have you, so we can all be in tune with each other, be on the same page. And I would love to read some of you all's feedback on the next episode. So guys, again, I want to thank everyone who has tuned in tonight and who have been here since the beginning, listening. Thank you guys so much. Be sure to share these audio conversations with a friend or what have you. I would love for you all to do that. And I think that is it. Again, my name is Mimi, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye bye.